Well, hello everyone. We're going to be doing something quite interesting today. We're going to be doing a demonstration of PlayStation 1 games with true widescreen support. And if you have the default menu without even modifying it with Hackshi, you go to display, you can only run at 4:3 aspect ratio. And for those of you who are uninitiated, most movies from like 1950 and before, including like Snow White and all those, were in 4:3 aspect ratio. So if you even get these on like 4K Blu-ray, you're really going to be getting these in like 4:3 aspect ratio. Anything beyond that is like stretched and it is not natural whatsoever. One of the first widescreen movies I've ever seen was like How the West Was Won, and they had like a panoramic view where the screen wrapped around you, almost like an earlier IMAX scenario. And it's an earlier movie with Jimmy Stewart, but it is phenomenal and breathtaking to behold in like a widescreen format. I mean, you just have to see it for yourself. Look up like a widescreen trailer for it on YouTube. But in any case, we're going to go into Metal Gear here, and it's almost blasphemous to even tolerate the notion of the fact that this game, as far as I'm aware, has never truly had widescreen support. And I know if Hideo Kojima was still on board with Konami, he would have made sure this happened at some point, because, I mean, having the additional real estate is so truly badass. And for those of you who may have seen some of my earlier videos when I did like stretched widescreen, and then you're like, no, that is unnatural, don't do it. So I pretty much stuck to like actual proper aspect ratio for the most part from that point on. But I'm also playing a demo of this game, which is interesting because it has the original Japan dialogue with English subtitles. Kind of like when you're watching anime and you have the choice of language, and you could do basically the English dubbed, or you could do the original language. I almost always do the original language. Like when I play Soul Calibur and Tekken, I love having the original language. But such a cinematic game, and prior to this, the last cinematic game I played was basically Out of This World, aka Another World, on Super Nintendo. And of course, before that would obviously be Ninja Gaiden on Nintendo NES. I mean, I love these cinematic style games. What would you say your favorite cinematic game of all time would be? And why do we have like Colonel Troutman from Rambo on the left there? What is that about? So let's try this for a moment here. And I'm going to show you before and after as far as like aspect ratio here. We're in like the 4:3 aspect ratio right here, right there. And you notice to your left here, you can see the like brownish black mark on the wall. The change to the top right, nothing really standoutish there. It is 4:3 aspect ratio. If you get like the Metal Gear Legacy, Master Edition, Collections, whatever for any given system, and you play Metal Gear Solid on it, you're still in 4:3 aspect ratio. So what is that about? So we're going to go into core options here, and you could do this stretch thing through like RetroArch video settings, output. You can change it to 16:9 there as far as like the aspect ratio. But in some cores, you could do it as well through here. And just check this out. I'm going into the core options for DuckSwanStation, which is going to go on the Mega Drive, SNES, NES, and PlayStation Classic and Amiga 500 Minis in the next release, purportedly, hopefully for June or July early of this year. But you go to core provided aspect ratio, we're changing 4:3 to 16:9. And you're going to notice this is just going to stretch the game out. It's not going to be proper, true widescreen support. Kind of like the SNES HD Super Mario World widescreen, which unfortunately will not work on the minis because it is too slow. But check here. We still have the same real estate on the wall there, not much, it's just that brown and black line there. To the top right, we still have that roughly 1 or 2 inches to the right of the chain there. So we need to get Pinhead and the chains here going there, so we're going to go back into core options. And it also looks like my character is straight out of like ice hockey from Nintendo. I remember doing the icing on that, making it go all around. Ice hockey was such a fun game. I played the hell out of that. I played the hell out of Blazing Steel. I love my hockey games. I just got the latest NHL game for PS5. The one that came out before that wasn't as good, but this new one is actually pretty fun. So it was on sale on the PSN. So we're going to the option. I didn't mean to do it. Options. Go down again. We're gonna change this widescreen hack to be enabled. And again, I'm gonna show you the differential here to know kind of what works and what doesn't work. So by enabling this and going back to the game, we're gonna see if this actually works for this particular game. There we go. 3, 2, 1, contact. We could see way up on nearly the way up there. We can see like the rats going by. And look to the top right of the chains. We can see like literally there's so much more real estate there. Better for sneaking, right? There we go. And love this game. You ever notice the sound effect? Listen to the sound effect here. You watch YouTube videos, no matter what YouTube video you watch, you're going to always hear this sound effect right here. Just listen. You're going to hear this. That sound effect. It's like in every YouTube video, even for people who've never even played Metal Gear. Can I hide? Did he see me go back here? There we go. Let that time run out. And you wait a minute or so, you could have the elevator come down and get your cinematic awesome masterpiece experience. But Hideo Kojima did wonders on this. I remember having the original Metal Gear 1 and Snake's Revenge on Nintendo, and I found out lo and behold later that Hideo Kojima had absolutely nothing to do with these. So I finally got around to playing Metal Gear 1 and 2 on MSX, and I played a translated version of one of them, and they were phenomenal. But I love this right here, this whole cinematic thing here. Think of like other games that you played that have these cinematic experiences over the years, like Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1, Another World, aka Out of This World on, of course, Super Nintendo. Another game was like Heart of Darkness, which is a great game on PlayStation 1, but prior to that was even games like, should we say, the original Ninja Gaiden on Nintendo. Love games like that. Oh, let's not be seen. Dump. Get out of my way. And I went to like Children's Palace years ago, and I got Metal Gear with some birthday money. I took it home, played it for a few minutes. I didn't think it was that great. I took it back, tried to return it. They're like, no, you can't return it. I took it back home, and with the miracles of the amazing pre-internet and Nintendo powers, I was able to get to this entire game and beat the game. It was such a fantastic game. I beat it multiple times. The only thing that really thoroughly sucked is when my mom would say, hey, Colin, you got to put this game down. And then I had to go to that monstrosity of doing the password system. You remember how long it used to take to try to write the password system down? And some of these passwords would be like, you'd have both the letter O and you'd have the number 0. I mean, you have to be smart and literally like learn to put the line between so you know which is which. But some games you couldn't even tell what was what. You'd have like these 80 character passwords and just inexplicably never be able to get back to the game. Of course, you had some games where the passwords, even if you had the right passwords, they wouldn't even work. So here we go. Konami for the win there. We're going to go back to the main menu here, but first let's change this back to the default settings. And you notice that some cores will actually, like when you exit them, they'll go back to the default settings. Others will actually save these. And I did this for my Nintendo 64 cores. I specifically went out of my way to recode them. So if you change these settings, like widescreen and all that, and you close content and reopen it, it'll take effect. That makes it real easy to test. But other things like the shaders and such, you don't want this to happen because if you have a slow shader, like a Game Boy like shader, like the tinted green and all that, it is literally going to slow the thing down into a crawl, and it's going to make it abysmal trying to even like navigate through RetroArch. So we're going back to the main menu here. We're going to do 2 more test examples. I'm going to show you a game that doesn't work with widescreen and a game that does. So going back to the main menu. Unfortunately, NBA Hang Time does not work with widescreen. I was really kind of hoping it did, but generally 2D games will not. You'll find some 2D games that will, like Disney's Tarzan game does. So I'm assuming some of the other games that are like made on the same engine would as well. Like and of course games like Rayman 2 definitely work that way. So we're doing NBA Hang Time. Get in the game real quick. Just get in the game here. Get in the game.
NBA Hang Time.
Hey, KM. Now I love my NBA Jam games. And of course, you're going to be able to do Michael Jordan and NBA Jam hacks for Main 2003 stream, courtesy of Pond. His tremendous work on that hack coming in. Dennis Rodman. Remember that one double team movie of Dennis Rodman and, of course, Jean-Claude Van Damme? Fun movie. I love all my Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. He's still outputting some fantastic movies. Okay, and if you ever watched one movie called JVCD, that was a great movie too. But right here, I'm going to pause the game here. Let's try to get to a good point here. So look there, we have to the left of the basket right there, we have 2 people to the left of the actual rim right there. And we see the guy with the white shirt on the way right next to the table. So I'm going to go into the options here. We're going to do this, remember what I showed you. We're going to go 16:9 and just stretch it to see how it works stretched. We got the one guy next to the table. We got the 2 guys to the left. So no difference whatsoever. So this clearly, like, stretched isn't doing anything. Obviously, you're not going to really see much in the stretch proportions anyway, but now we're going to try to enable the widescreen hack and see if we see any more real estate like we did with Metal Gear. Nope. We got the exact same. So literally it is no different. It's still stretched. So it really nothing whatsoever different there. So I mean, you can play stretch, but you're probably going to want to just play the standard aspect ratio in this particular game. And by the way, let me know what you're watching on your various streaming services. And I also want to know logically who you think would be the best candidate to play Solid Snake in a live-action movie or TV series adaptation of Metal Gear. And it'd be cool because they did pretty damn good with like Twisted Metal and Fallout. I'm looking forward to more of these. And I guess I didn't watch it yet, but I heard like Halo Season 2 is better than Season 1. What other, Last of Us, that wasn't bad. A lot of people are saying that's fantastic, and I watched the first part of that. I'm going to have to get back to that as well. But another game that is, and you'll notice I'm actually running these all on internal memory. In order to get Metal Gear Solid on internal memory, I'm actually running a demo of it, so I was able to get that on there. NBA Hang Time is a pretty small game to begin with, but I have it compressed in CHD proprietary format that runs on these cores. And I also have a fixed up Pico drive, which is going to, instead of just running like the old proprietary format that only that core runs, I'm going to have an updated Pico drive that runs CHD format, just like PCSX, and of course DuckStation. So there we go, Jump and Flash here, before and after, and there are 3 Jump and Flash games. You got Jump and Flash 1, 2, which came out in the United States, and there's also a Jump and Flash 3, which was Japan only. I'm not sure if it came out in Europe, but if you're a fan of the game, give it a shot. But in order to get this game on here, I had to rip the music out just so I could get it down to like 20 megabytes for this test result. And I do have ripping software in my release, which I've had in my releases for many, many years now. So again, 4:3 aspect ratio. And DuckStation also has like 99.5% compatibility. So games like Demolition Man and WWE in Your House and multiple other games like the NBA Live games, they're all going to work right off the bat. And it's so awesome. So again, look right here. We have the pillars. You have, in the foreground, you have obscured view of the pillars. You can see like little 3 lines on them. I'm going to try doing stretch real quick and see if we see any difference there. I'm probably going to watch that horror movie called Terror, because I'm a big fan of horror movies. And what strikes me as interesting about this movie is that the trailer is awful, and people are saying the movie's better than the trailer. Usually it's the other way around, where the trailer makes the movie look way, way better than it actually is. But it feels like it's going to be like a Final Destination style movie, so I'm going to give that a shot. I mean, what other horror movies, for those of you who are horror fans, have you watched recently, or even TV shows? Or what other kind of movies, no matter the genre, have you watched? And also, I got BritBox, that one streaming application, because I'm a big, big fan of like British comedies and sitcoms, and just in general. I've watched these for decades, ever since I was a little kid. I've always loved British cinema. And it's so cool seeing some of these shows on there and going back to them. Let me know some of your favorite British-style shows throughout the years. Even stuff like Father Brown, it just all stands out. Okay, so widescreen hack. And we're going to stretch this to 69 here. Just see this right here. So that is completely stretched, and that frog looks so much larger there. Almost like a Cartman frog there. And there's like a new South Park mini-movie about obesity and all that. They keep cranking these out. I've been watching them. I mean, it's not quite like the heyday of South Park, where like there was no holds barred. I mean, because of some of the stuff they did that was offensive, they kind of tamed things down. I think Matt Parker and Trey Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Why did I mix their names up? Kind of like the one time when they had like the South Parks on DVD, and they were sitting in front of the fireplace having these little intros. And you see that the dogs would actually change as the camera cut away. I found that hilarious, like a little humorous approach. I've also liked all of their live-action movies, from Basketball to Cannibal the Musical to Orgasmo and so on. They need to have another movie. But here we go. Remember, we saw like 1.5 pillars to the right here. Here we go, ready. Oh, look at that. We can see, oh, that is awesome. We can see the whole pillar now. Awesome. Awesome stuff. The only caveat to running DuckStation is because you're not going to be able to run the true thing, like 4K and all that, like you can on PC. You're not going to be able to do HD. If you want to run HD, you're going to need to still use the updated PCSX HD core. Oh, that is awesome. So again, we're looking for the jetpacks to get to the stage here. But look, we got more real estate there. There's, what is this, right here? There's one of them. I love these games with these triple jumps. How many games can you think of that have like double or triple jumps? And I love the way it changes to like almost like an overhead view by the time you get to the last one. Look at that. Awesome.